So as I mentioned, so you can just go to this WSL. There's an instruction here where you can just install this WSL. And in Windows 11, I believe this is a default tool of Windows. You can just you can just type this install. By default, this will install Ubuntu distro. So, but will not do this um, now because I already um, I already installed this before. But if you want other type of Linux, you can check that like this. So available Linux distribution is this one. So you can install um, like this WSL install for distribution and the name of this one, say um, Debian. So when I hit this enter, it will install that to my WSL, but that will take time. So as I mentioned, I will use that WSL. It will enter to the Ubuntu environment now. It should. So here I have set this up earlier to make sure that this is totally separated environment from Windows. I have other version of .NET here. So .NET used SDKs. So I only have .NET 9 here, but in my Windows, I have multiple version of SDKs here. So, so that shows that I am really running to inside Linux, but I'm working with Linux, but inside Windows. Okay, so before I continue talking about that, I want to um, point this out also, where you probably need to install your .NET SDKs. You can just also find it here. I will share this link later on. You just need to follow the um, Linux command here. It will install it for you. But make sure that you are disconnected in the VPN. It will probably block, but you can try that also. For Docker desktop, so as I have mentioned before, you can containerize your applications without a Docker desktop. You can just work with Docker engine. For the reason of Docker desktop uh, has a license that companies to pay for it. And as I have spoke with Heike, our license for Docker desktop will end next month, December. So I suggest to really work with this Docker engine. I also just followed the instruction here, and it works fine. Same, you need to disconnect with the VPN. Architecture standards also provided a step for that. So if you can go to this install, they also provide the steps that you can do. I will also share that later. Okay, so that's the boring part. So let's try to talk about Docker. As I have mentioned, I already installed this Docker in my Ubuntu environment. So this command, well, probably you can just research different commands of Docker. So Docker has this PS where it can list all of the existing running container. You can also have you also need to use this Docker build, which will build the application. I will show that later. if you want to remove that, you can just remove this Docker RMI and the container name. And you can also find logs inside your containers like this, then container name. So have already created different projects, and I want to use that here. Let's find it. Ubuntu. Yeah, demo Ubuntu. It is. Okay. So let me just run this first. This project is a simple .NET Web API and doesn't do anything fancy here. Let's just run this. .NET test. Run. So as you can see, this is being compiled inside Ubuntu, but you can still open that inside your Windows like this. So works fine. And yeah, so I have this Docker file. This is a very basic Docker Dockerfile implementation. But the important part here is the Dockerfile should be multi-stage, meaning it has different stage to do the process, because this will minimize the size of your container image. So, and also most of the Dockerfile uses Alpine, because this is also related to file size of the Docker container image. I don't want to run explain this one by one. Maybe you can also research. But basically, when this Docker file being executed, it will just set the uh, um, what you call this working folder where all the execution will be pointed out. Another thing to point out here is this expose. So meaning this application has this port 8080 locally, and that this can only be exposed when you build your image. And I'm gonna do that now. I have already a cheat sheet here. So this one, I need to build my um, image first. Let me just um, change this. So what I am basically doing here is I am defining this image, and the tag name is this one, .NET Test 2. Then this is the version, actually, this latest. By practice, or by good practice, is you don't need to you need to add a version number here, not because actually I can do that here now. So it's just 0.2. And this dot represents, or the purpose of this one is saying that this application, this root application, will be read by this command. Let me just try to run that. This will take a little time. Okay. So if we go to check the PS, of course, it will not yet listed here. So, but it should be in the Docker images, which lists all the images that I have. As you can see, I have created different images before, but this one is the one that I have just created. So let's try to run that by this command. So the name is test2, and this should be 1.2 port 8080. So port 8080, I would like to make this 6970. So uh, this is the local port, and this is the public port that the client will can access. So I'm gonna show you that now.
Can we just, I think it's easier to describe it as the port within the container and the port accessible outside of the container.
Hmm? Sorry.
Yeah, if I can rephrase that, it would be easier to understand if we say that 70 is the port within the container itself, and 8080 is the port exposed outside of the container.
No, this is the local port. This is the local port, and this is the port that will be exposed
Okay, yeah, so
outside
it was
this.
the other way
Yeah,
around, yeah.
yeah. Correct. That's also confusing. Um, okay, because the name is the same. So let me just do that. .NET 2. So if we open this one, it's local 70. And if we go to that weather forecast again, the forecast, it will have, this is now running inside container. And to confirm that, um, we can change this, say this one, Ryan, Ryan. Then let's run this .NET applications first. Ah, sorry. .NET. Ah, okay, so let's go to this one. Let's try to check my, yeah, it's here. But if we try to close this, um, we try to run our Docker again. Let me just stop this Docker instance. Docker stop. Then it's either you will use the name. Where's the name? This one, or much better use the container ID. It's up to you. Both will work. No, actually, the recommended is the name, but here. And let's try to check if this is still working. No, so it's not working anymore. So can you guess, guys, if I run this, if I run this container again, will the changes affect or reflect to this container?
No.
That's true, because it needs to it yeah, it's true, because it means the container image is not yet compiled again, and it's not yet deployed to, I mean, the image is not the same, the image is the same, and the image container is not being updated yet. It needs to it needs to build this Docker image and put it to container. I'm not sure if I said it correctly. Um, Let me try that. Yeah. So as you can see here, this Docker doesn't want me to run this because the name is the same. So each image can have uh, can have multiple container. Well, container image can produce multiple container, but you cannot have what you call this, the same information as your container. And we can check that like this. Okay, so it's like I build the container, but I didn't delete it yet, because when I stop the container, the container is still there. I mean, it's not really being replaced unless I will delete this. So Docker, where am I? One. Okay, it's not being deleted. Anyways, I cannot delete, but yeah, so it should be different, because as I mentioned, that container is like the container image produce this kind of container. So what we need to do is change this name, or if you want to make this dynamic, you can remove this name. It will generate a dynamic name for us or for you. So, but for this sake of demo, for the sake of this demo, let's just use that. I am container, that one. Then if as I mentioned, of course, the changes will not be here, because we did not build the container yet. So let's try to do that now. Let's try to run. Build. And yeah. Okay. So our container should be updated. Images. Sorry, images. So this is the image that we have updated. Now let's try to run that again. This is the image. And yeah. Sorry. Should be 2. Let me just try to rerun that again. 3. Let me just do that. Why? Okay. Because the port is running, so we can stop that. Is we can remove this or stop. Docker stop. Then let's try to run that again. Make it 4, 43. Then open this in browser. Then Ryan should be here. Why? Oh, did I? That's weird. Yeah, here. So yeah, because it's random. So this is the Ryan that I have added. So any question or confusion for this as of the moment? Okay. Now, you probably have confusion about this, um, the how this container is being um, generated. So basically, you will have the source code with Dockerfile, and Dockerfile will decide how this Docker image or container image will be built. So that's why we have this Dockerfile, which calls all the dependency, even environment. You will check all the environments here. I'm gonna show this later. So all the dependency, all the components, you can define it here. And in this Docker file um, will produce Docker image. So basically, Docker image is what you call this. Docker image is the image that will be used by the container. When you say container, this is the runnable application or runnable container that can be ported to different container registries. So when you say container registry, there are two types of container registries. So one is the Docker Hub. So this is the most common one is the Docker Hub, where you can put your where you can put your container, or you can get different container image here. Like let's say for example, if you need to and nginx, you can just pull all the images here freely. So no, not all the container image here are free. So you have to check if it's free or not. And the private private container registry is in the cloud provider like yeah, Azure, AWS, or Google. So in this one, in this page that I'm showing you is yeah, this is from Microsoft. They have their own container registry where the container will be hosted. And in our project, this will be the one that we are going to use. Actually, this will be depending on our DevOps engineer. Angel will decide for this one. But yeah, once that container is already in container registries, you can just easily use that. Let's say, for example, in our situation, you can use app service or container app. You can just point that. You can just what do you call this? Get that container from there and run it inside this. So Azure, AWS, or Google, disregard, because this container registry has already the running application, which is this container. Okay, for this environment, I believe I have asked you, Mohammed, about what are different configuration we have from Azure config, because we can put that here so that our depots will not have what you call this, challenges dealing with different configurations. Because yeah, and container also containerized application also is I mean, that's also the expectation for containers application. All the configuration should be there, because the idea is like you have this container and put it somewhere, and that application will work as expected. Disregard if it's in your local environment or your live server or cloud. Disregard, it should be here.
I have a question.
Mhm.
Can we save the sensitive data here? Like, let's say the connection sync, which has some
But
stuff
by
network.
you can, but I think much better if we still use this key vault. I can discuss that with you and Ingle later on. But you basically you can, but to make
We
sure
should.
that is
Oh, we can't do it, but should
no
we?
no
Because
no
the
no
problem is if we have one centralized place, right? And
yeah,
we
but
can change one thing, and you can, if you have a multiple instances of the service, they instantly they get the new configuration. Otherwise, now if we have a multiple instances, and this is like we're talking about here is instance configuration, right?
Yeah.
If we have a
Yes.
multiple instances,
That's correct.
and, yeah, maybe we can talk this later.
Yeah, but yeah, the concern to that centralized configuration is like containers are still tightly coupled for that one. That's the main concern there. That container should not be like that. Should not be like that. It should be independent as much as possible. What I said is like we can still use different key vaults here because just for the benefit of the doubt that maybe this still not be secured. So but we can still discuss about that in depth later on when we talk about security. But yeah, you can still, and I'm going to show you how to trigger this actually. Okay, how can I just need to um enable this. I have already tested that. So as you can see here, I am just getting this variable from the Docker file like this. So if you need different environment variables here, just added something here, or yeah, it depends on you, but you can do this like that. But let me trigger that first. Build the application. Let me run that again. I'm gonna do this. Actually, I can still use this, but I want to have a new version. Let's make this 222 build. So I have new images here. And if I check that, 222, this is the new image with the changes that I have done here. So I just comment this out and put this. So
I have a
then let's.
question.
Mhm.
That's the configuration will be part of the deployment, right? When we
This one.
deploy this, yes, that will be part when we deploy this configuration will be there and they will be used later in the application.
This should be pushed to our code repository, and our DevOps guy will read this, or our automation will read this Docker file, because this Docker file will identify or define how the container will be built.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now
So it depends. Mm-hmm.
my question here, we have some configurations.
Mm-hmm.
Why we should not use the app configuration with the JSON file that we have already? That the .NET is already will pick up this. Why we need to? Or the question is, which value we should keep in the environment? Which value we should keep in the app settings JSON file?
This one will be the same. That one will be the same. This in container orchestrator, this will be handled there, but it should be defined. We can use both. You can use this one
Yeah.
if you want. You can use this or not, because this will be deployed there. I'm gonna show
Okay.
you this. I'm gonna show you about this demo.
I want to understand which, because if we use app settings JSON, then we have options that you can just mock them. You have this all good things with that one. If we have with that one, it's a little bit, it's okay, we can use, but when you have a complex models like nasty objects in
Mm-hmm.
the configuration, yeah, you need to go with this. I think the underscore will work here. I don't know either. If it's
Mm-hmm.
like, uh, if you
This
want
can
to,
al- this can also be done like that, but in that scenario, you can still use that environment variables specific in the application like this. So
yeah,
there's this environment variables in, let's say, for example, in app service. You can also have this environment variable here. this
Okay.
is for the automation of or building this container. It depends on how. Yeah. So let me just
And which is
try.
private, let's say the say what VIP here is this environment variable or it's app settings? Which ones? If we have the same variable in both sides, which one is overwritten or which one is used?
This is just a default. You can override this, and I'm gonna show you this now.
Mean if you have a custom variable here, right?
Mhm.
Somewhere in the line 42. If you have the same in the app settings JSON file,
Mhm.
uh,
That will
uh,
not that will not overlap because that is different here.
yeah, you're
I'm gonna show.
injecting from environment, not for okay, all good,
Yeah,
not configuration.
I'm gonna show you this now. So let's say here, did I already? Yeah, I already build it? So in automation, let me just clear this real quick. Wait. Eh, clear. Sorry, I'm in Ubuntu. Okay, so if we go back, that one run. So our two. I'm gonna try to change this. Are we still using port 80? Okay, port 8080. Oh, wait, sorry. I just forgot. Sorry. Oh, okay, this one. Okay, clear. And we are going to use this image. That's the image that we have just created. Let's try to make this Ryan. Let's try to make this 770. Oh, let's just try one. Then run. And if you want to use this, um, so sample value Ryan, we need to add that here, E,
Okay. You can
then
override the environment variables during the building the
correct,
image. Okay.
right. So let me just do this. Then is equal to, let's say, um, to hammer. Oop. So if we go to if we check that, value should be reflected to the weather forecast or forecast, um, which is not. Did I build it? I'm not sure if I built it.
It's okay. I get the idea.
Some variable. Wait. I just want to make that. Let's run. Yeah.
Isn't it's because you have a type of my name, maybe knows me and says it's a wrong name.
Mm-hmm. Wait, let me just try that. I'm so curious. Anyways, yeah. So that one will be late actually here. So it will do that because I get that and add it to the response, and that's it. No fancy there. So it will be the decision of our DevOps engineer how we handle that. I believe Engel already knows how to deal with these different environments and variables. And yeah, Engel, we can discuss this later if there's a challenges. Now you already have this you already have this Docker image container locally ready. So the next thing here, of course, we need to deploy this. As I mentioned, we need to deploy this. So in my Docker Hub, I have this Docker Docker Hub profile, um, and I already have this container sample uploaded. So how I did this, I just, of course, I need to log into that. So when you type this Docker login, it will automatically it is intelligent enough to interpret that the user will log into this one. So the endpoint is always docker.io. If I log into that one, I'm already logged in. So let me just clear that. And Docker, I need to push the image, Docker image. So I need to use this one. So Docker, I need to add a tag for that one. So the rule here is this is the Docker, this is the image name, and this is the version. So I should use that. And that's it. I need to add Docker talk. It's wrong. Sorry. Um, Let me. Okay, because I did not put my repository or registry. Yeah, repository. Sorry, and the image itself. I need to add it here. So meaning I have this tag name .NET Test 2.2.2 or colon 2.2, and I want to upload that to my Docker repository. So Docker path. Okay, too much shortcut. Sorry. Okay. After that, I can now push that to my um, Docker. This one, Docker Hub. So I think this will only take 2 minutes. Let's just wait.
Meanwhile, let me ask a question.
Mhm.
Good to know all this stuff, but as developer, we will never push anything from our local to the hub, right? That will be part of the build pipeline, right? Or release
Yeah,
pipeline.
yes. Yeah, the only change or the only activity that you will do is this build and run the Docker. Not the it's like currently what you are doing is like build the what they call is build the .NET, then .NET run. That's it. But that that should be changed because uh, it should it should make sure that the container that the local containers that you are producing will be the same as the container that you are going to upload. That's why I showed you how to build first, how to run, how to uh, pass the environment that you are going to use inside um, application. For Angular, since Angular is also can also be containers, of course. But in our case, I think this is not really an urgent one, but much better if can we can containerize this. And I already test that already. I already test that. It's already done. Let's try. It's here now. So this is already in container registry. So how can we use this now? I'm gonna show you now also. So let me open my portal. I'm going to use my own because I have free here. I am free to create any resources. Okay, so earlier I created this. Actually, it's an Angular application. I'm going to show you this first. So these are the, if you remember, I have this Angular here container, and I just point that, I just point this container app to that, what do you call this, to that Docker Hub or container registry. So I just that here. Yeah, I'm gonna much better if I create one. This one, create Azure Container Apps. I'm gonna use Microsoft create. API Ryan this Docker. Then next, okay. Registry Docker Hub. So I'm gonna use the name of this. Use this. Then add it here. Then that's it. Let me open this ingress to make sure this is accessible. So by default, Container Apps is not public, so I can do this public for this demo. Create, then create. Okay, so while waiting for this, I would like to start sharing about. Anyways, yeah, what will happen here is like what I did or what I have for this container. So I just point the Docker Hub image name there to this one. This. Okay. So I think that's it for that. This Aspire, as I have mentioned, I want to share this. I'm not sure if we can use this for now. It's a little bit overkill, but I'm gonna show you this because you might like it. But I'm gonna use my Windows for this. Aspire. Wait, let me just open the how I installed this Aspire. So just go to this aspire.dev. It's pretty simple. Just install this. Then you will have a CLI like when you work with Angular. Okay, so let's try this. Run. Okay. So as you can see here, this is just local. So I mean, but you will notice that you have lots of metrics or information that you can use. You can have, okay, wait, sorry. You can have this console logs where you can trace different information. You can have metrics. how the application behaves. Imagine this is just local. You can also get different traffics. You can also have, you can also see different, sorry, wait, different settings. Ah, settings, churches. Uh, so you can also have this. So I mean, the connection is the connectivity between different services are like this. You can check that visual representation. But what I want to show is it um oh, oh, why yeah, the application is running. So there's a back end and there's a front end, which is just a Blazor. But what interest? Yeah, this one. Sorry. So all the settings are generated for us or for you if you work with this one. If you deploy this in production, this will be generated automatically in a secured way, because this will be handled by Azure and Aspire command line. And if I can um, if I can demo this now, I'm not sure if you still have time. So a simple like this. So basically, Aspire has this main two projects, App Host and App Service Default. So default is being shared to different microservices or project that you will have, and App Host is your orchestrator, or like instead of working with YAML files, you can just work with C# code that can manipulate different services. So if I can create .NET application here, .NET new, web API, API, output 0, Ryan API. Okay. I just need to reference this to app host. And first I need to add, or can I import this here? Okay, add reference. I'm not sure, but uh, it should be added here.
Yeah, we get the
Project.
idea. We get the idea. Oh, good.
Wait, let me just show you this.
Can you expand that one as well? Maybe there's a then you can add this add project reference. Yes, the
Uh,
fourth one.
yeah, this one, project
Yes.
reference. Yeah. Okay. So since we already add that reference there, it should be here.
You
Okay,
didn't.
yeah,
You just do again.
add reference.
You need to select the second one now.
Yeah, yeah,
That
yeah,
should be it.
yeah, yeah. Okay, so now we have that. So we can just say here var Ryan API. That let's just yeah, it's already being read automatically. And then with health check, health health check. Nah, you just remove that. Too much automatic something. So now I can use this as my backend. So let me just use or change this. So this is the Blazor app. I can just change that here. Or no, you can even add this multiple. Yeah, just use this. Okay, and if I run this now, sorry, I was wrong. Oh, and use that. Sorry, multiple reference that back end here for the front end. Okay, let's run this. And try to check this. It automatically detected this. I mean, all the necessary configuration are here. Telemetry is also here. So if we want to run this, it should be the same. Port is also automatically assigned. Forecast. So if we go to the dashboard, you can see different logs here. You can isolate different information here. Yeah, so I think that's all for this one. One thing about this .NET Aspire. Let's say, for example, we have this already built project for remote diagnostic. That project can easily be converted to .NET Aspire, which we will have this automatically. But I don't think that's the case for now. But yeah, better to check that. You can also run. You can also stop and start your services in real time in Aspire. And there are um, lots of integration for this .NET Aspire, especially some of the messaging. Yeah, there are lots of integration or components, plugins that you can use readily for our use case, SQL, RabbitMQ, Service Bus. If you can imagine, you can just add this plugins. Then you can readily just add topics and subscribers, and that's it. Yeah, that's all for this, and I hope you guys learned something about this.
Can you maybe send those links?
Sure. Yeah. Which one? All? Yeah, I'm gonna send.
Maybe one Microsoft with commands.
And you can share the video as well.
Yeah, but I will
Yeah,
share the links.
yeah.
Okay.
It's okay.